This is Maheshwari, and in this video, we're going to take a look at how to create a small chocolate package using Cinema 4D. So let's get started with it. So I'm going to jump right into Cinema 4D. So what we're going to do is we're going to create the base, the cup here first for the chocolate to be in. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the shape set and we'll create a star. And we have a star right here. So what we will do is in the star, we will change the axis to X and Z. So it is like this right now. And we can modify the shape a little bit. So we are coming here, we can see the inner radius and the outer radius. So we'll just change the inner radius and we'll change the number of points like this. So this sort of works. And we can change the intermediate points to subdivided. Okay, this works right now. What we're going to do is we are going to extrude this. So what we'll do is we'll select the extrude, take it to the star, and we have an extrusion. So we created a shape, a depth in here. What we'll do is we will go to the extrude options right here. We'll go to the caps and take off the start cap. So it will be like, a plate sort of thing. Okay, so it has a bottom and it doesn't have any top. So when we are coming here, we can see the bevel. So we can actually play around with the bevel. So if we do that, we can actually see the beveling happening right here in the bottom. So I can make it into a curve. We can make it into a solid, or we can make it into steps. So I think the round is going to work perfectly here. We can also change the size of it, but I think this is good. The segments in the shapes, you can increase it to make it smoother. So we have something like this. We can go to the extrude and we can increase the extrusion. So if you go to the object and you increase the offset, you can actually increase the cup size. So I think this is looking good. This is okay. What we're going to do right now is that we are going to change this into an editable object. So we can click on this, click on the object and go to the vertex, and we can select all the top vertices here. So I'm going to just take the rectangular selection, select all the vertices and then scale it up so that we can create this particular shape right there. So this is good. Okay, so we have a shape like this. I need a little bit of surface here, a little bit of thickness that is in the cup. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to select all of this. Maybe we can select all of this and then delete that. We don't need them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the closed surface and then add that here. So I'm going to press Shift C on my keyboard to get the command and look for clothed surface, and we have that. Let's add that into the extrusion. So then the closed surface is added to it. I'm going to go to the closed surface and we can increase the thickness. So we can see that the object is creating a little bit of thickness in here. So we can now start building the chocolate. So what I'm going to do is we'll rename this first to the cup, and we need to build the chocolate. So I'm going to take a sphere and work on that, right? So we'll take a sphere, roughly scale this as well. So let's put it somewhere here, a little bit of scale, and I think that actually looks good. We'll take it outside for the time being so that we can work in here and we can bring it to the cup later. So we have this, and let's go to display and turn on the Gorat shading line so we can see the subdivisions here, which is fine right now to start with. We are going to sculpt a little bit on this shape. So this is fine. What we're going to do is we're going to subdivide the model to sculpt on it. So the easy way to do this is to go to the sculpt tab right here, and we can select the object, go to edit object mode, and we can click on subdivide. So we are in the subdivide option right now. So currently the level is 0, which means that we haven't subdivided it enough to start sculpting. We can click on it once again, so you can see the subdivisions increasing. So this is actually a decent, you can still keep going. So we are at the current level 3, polygon count is this. So if you keep subdividing it, the mesh is going to get heavy, the polygon count is going to be bigger, and your system might not handle it really well. So I think this is fine right now. So what we can do is we can now sculpt on it. So I'm going to use the pinch tool, the grab tool, and the flatten tool here. So let's take the grab tool first, and you can now do this, right? So you're just creating some you know surface iterations here. So let's do that. Not that much. So be creative here, and you can keep the shape in the way that you want. You just keep make sure that you're doing it on all the sides. All right, we have done the initial sculpting, and now what we're going to use is I'm going to use a tool called the pinch. So which basically does is that it just creates points out of this rough shapes that you're doing. I'm also going to flatten a bit of this, so it can actually bring a little more realism into the model that we are creating. You can just go back to your layout, and you have the object back in here. So you have your sphere right here. You can go back to it, and you can start working on that. So now that we have the basic shape of this created, we need some more pieces of the chocolate, maybe some nuts to be added with the chocolate. So I'm going to create a couple of more shapes here. So what we'll do is we will, and let's take a sphere once again, move it here, scale down, and let's focus into that sphere right now. What we're going to do is we will increase the segments a little bit. What we're going to do is we're going to add a displace modifier right here. So let's go to displace. So Shift C, look for displace. We can add the shading noise right here. We have this. So what we'll do is we'll go to the noise, and we will basically make the scale this. Okay. So we have this random shape created here. What we are going to do is we are going to select this, and we are going to clone this. So what we will do is we'll go to MoGraph and cloner, and add this sphere into the cloner. So we have the cloning right here. So let's go to the cloner, and what we will do is that we want this to be on the surface of our chocolate. So what we're going to do is we're going to change it to the object, and take the sphere as our object. So this is now in our object. We'll go here, we will reduce the count of it. We'll also reduce the scale of it. So we can adjust the scale by changing the scale of the sphere right here. Let's turn it back like this. Okay, so we have this. We can select the cloner, go to MoGraph and effector, randomize it. So this is randomized right now. Now we go to the random, the parameter, and we don't want the position to be affected. We want the rotation and the scale to be changing, so we can do that. So we have a custom scaling like this on the chocolates. So yeah, so we pretty much have our shape and the elements there. All right, so now that we have our shapes ready, let's bring things together. So I'm going to take the sphere and move it to the cup. Right, so we have our shape sort of ready. Let's create a surface and render it out and see how it looks. Okay, so I'm going to go to here and then create a plane. We have a plane, scale it up. The world options, click and create a physical sky right here. Go to settings, and we will add an ambient occlusion, and we will add a global illumination right here in the render settings. Let's check it out how it looks. So quick frame rendering. All right, it looks pretty cool. So now what we need to do is to add some materials onto it. So let's start building that. Let's create a new material and let's go in here and let's go to our color and let's choose a golden tint right here. So we'll have a gold tinted. We are actually trying to texture the cup right now. So I think this is fine right for the time being. We'll go to reflectance and remove the existing reflectance layer and add a new Beckman layer right here. So we'll get something like this. We are going to increase the roughness of it. Okay. And we can change the layer color to a golden foil color. So let's do that. Okay, it looks pretty interesting. So we have that layer color right now, and let's take it and apply it into our cup. So we have that. Let's go to create a new material for the chocolate. So let's go here. Let's go to color. Let's change it to chocolate. Okay. Yeah, this is good. Go reflectance, remove the layer, add another Beckman. But in this case, we're going to reduce the reflectance of this and we'll increase the roughness of this bit. Okay. Let's add it to our sphere. Let's give it a quick render. Looks interesting. So we'll go to the chocolate layer and we will add a little more darkness into this. So let's group them all together. Alt G to group them. And we can duplicate and make a couple of copies. So I'm just gonna duplicate some this sphere here. Create a little bit of a random look. Right. So let's set up camera quickly and render it out. So let's click on camera. We have a camera. Let's click to view inside the camera and we will choose a tele lens for this. Let's zoom out a bit. We'll take the focus distance. So we will take this sphere as the focus object. So we're going to go to the camera and null 4 is our focus. So just drag and drop it into the focus object. We can go to physical and we'll change the aperture to f1.6. What we are going to do now is go to our render settings, change the render to physical, and under physical, enable depth of field. And now we can quickly render it and see how it looks.